Hello, I'm Brandon Wilcox, and this class is on the power of energy and motion. And really, it's a class on healing through energy work. So, I'll talk to you a little bit about what I mean by energy and motion, and then I'll guide you through a visual meditation to do some energy work and create some healing for you. I'll leave you with some simple but very powerful tools that you can use in your day to day life to continue to move energy and create healing. But let's go ahead and start at the beginning. What do I mean by the power of energy and motion? Well, as you probably realize, in an electrical system, if the energy gets cut off, restricted, stuck somewhere, then you're not going to have power to the circuit, to whatever you're trying to use, the appliance, whatever it is, right? Whereas if you have too many things that are plugged in, it's pulling too much power, it could blow it out. Then you have to reset the system. Well, in the human body, it's pretty similar. We're very energetic beings. And if you have too much energy, or maybe the wrong type of energy that's moving through a body, it can feel like getting really zapped, really kind of blown out, right? That's what people talk about when they have sort of fatigue from hanging out with people too much, being around a bunch of people, and all of a sudden they feel really drained. That's somebody who's more sensitive to energy. And they're bringing in the energy of those around them. It's moving through their body, and they're getting a little bit of a fried feeling from it, right? Whereas on the other side of that, energy that gets stuck in the body doesn't make its way through, it doesn't continue to move, that can become pain. That can become struggle, problems in your life. And so we want to think of it as everything is energy. There isn't necessarily good energy and bad energy, but rather there's the energy that's made for your system, right? Kind of like you could have a 120 volt or a 240 volt. One's not better and one's not worse. It's just an outlet that's designed for a certain amount of power, a certain amount of energy that's supposed to be moving through there, right? And so you want to start to learn what energy is yours, what energy is good for your body versus what energy is foreign, energy that's for somebody else. And then the second thing you want to learn how to do is keep the correct energy moving through your body, not having it get stuck. And again, like my earlier example, more energy isn't necessarily better. You don't want to burn yourself out. You want to have the right amount of energy moving through, not being stuck, right? And so I'm a professional psychic reader. And so I look at people's energy over and over again all day long. And I'll see them come to me with a certain problem in their life, something that's stuck or blocked that they're trying to work through. And I can see where the energy is blocked within their system, right? Within their body, their aura, their chakras. I can almost always see where there's an energy blockage within them that is creating the externalization of that problem in their world, in their relationship, in their house, in their job, whatever it happens to be. And so a big part of what my job is to help people get that energy moving again, to get things unstuck. And as they shift that within themselves, then they start to shift that within their life as well and see tremendous results. So I can't fix all of your problems right here and right now, but I can show you how to run energy to get unstuck, to make things a little bit better there. And some people that I've taught this to, they learn how to run energy, and it really helps them for working on their creative projects. They're moving along, trying to create something. They get stuck, they pause, they do a little bit of energy work, and then they get a start again in that creativity. It starts to flow better. Some people, they start to run energy and use these tools, and their posture gets better. There's a very visceral physical experience that they have as they run that energy through them. They start to release some of that pain, that stuckness in their body. They might even breathe a little bit deeper, think a little bit more clearly, right? It's pretty full spectrum what you can experience by running energy or working the energy. So, I want to share just one personal story and then we'll get into meditation. And this has to do with energy being in motion versus being stuck. So as a kid, I was perceived as very ADHD, kind of bouncing all over the place, wasn't really focusing that well, especially when there was more and more people around me, the less that I could focus, interestingly enough, right? And so my parents took me to a doctor for that, and he sort of suggested that it would be best for me to go to a school where I just played hockey for, so many hours a day, or one of those snowboarding schools, because I am here in Colorado, where you have a day off a week to go snowboard or snowboard for part of the day and then do school for part of the day. And what he was trying to address was that he thought I had too much energy, which wasn't really too much of my own energy. It was where I was being sensitive to, aware of all of the energy around me, all of the people around me. And I was running that through my body. It made it so I couldn't focus. It wasn't that I didn't have the attention to focus on things, but rather that my attention was focused on everything that was around me, all of those different energies, people, everything that was going on, instead of just one single pointed focus like they would have hoped, right? And so, that doctor was kind of cool. He gave me sort of a physical solution, something I could do, you know, with my body to start to get that energy in motion, which, is a little bit better than him just giving me a pill, right? But of course, my family wasn't really able to take that advice because, um, it's hard to get a kid into one of those schools. Got to be able to move and whatnot, right? And so another example is another spiritual teacher that I share some clients with said that she also had to do a lot of sports and physical activities as a kid to essentially stay sane, right? She was processing so much energy, so highly sensitive, like many of you watching this probably are too. And so she had to do all sorts of sports to kind of move that energy. She only had a physical tool to do something with that, right? Kind of like same as me when I was a kid. And then we both found our spiritual gifts and spiritual tools that taught us how to move energy without having to go and run a marathon or, play a hockey game or snowboard for half the day or anything else, because we don't always have access to that, right? It's great when we do, when we can move the body, when we're healthy enough to do that. That is one way to move energy, a physical way. But there's also a spiritual way to move energy too, something that's a little more accessible to anyone wherever they are, regardless of capability, athleticism, or how much time they have, right? And so that's what I'm going to teach you here in this meditation is how to have some good spiritual hygiene or spiritual health through the movement of energy, right? Gives you a little bit more of a full solution, something that you can do every day, because you go through your day and maybe you start to encounter something where you take on energy from the world or another person, or you encounter a situation that makes you feel a little shut down or bad about yourself. You have some sort of belief that you get hung up on, and your energy starts to get stuck around that belief or around that experience, around some sort of judgment, right? And so you can't just get up and start running or doing push-ups anytime you bump into something in life and have some stuck energy. So it's better to learn how to clear this spiritually, to use some simple tools to do that, right? Last example for me is when I was in school, one of the ways that I could focus is I would bring a yoga ball to my classes and I would sit and just bounce, bounce, bounce. And that was my way of, again, physically moving energy so that I could focus to some extent, right? Some people use music to do that. It gives them enough stimuli to kind of stay focused. And then I started to go to a spiritual training program around the age of 16 and learn spiritual tools and was then able to go back to class. And I didn't have to, take half the day off to run around or bounce on my yoga ball. I could just sit and be grounded and run energy and move through school just fine after that. Right. So that's what we're going to learn here today. So go ahead and find your meditative posture, preferably sitting in a chair, kind of upright, feet flat on the floor. And you can give yourself a nice deep breath in and a nice easy sigh out. And start to close your eyes if you haven't already. And as you give yourself a few deep breaths, just start to find your center. The center of your beingness. Not so much a physical body center, but the center of you energetically. Some people might experience that center in the heart. For others, it might be behind the eyes, the solar plexus. Just find your center. And if you can, bring that center point up to that space behind your eyes and in between your ears. This is the command center, control tower, whatever you want to call it. And since we're doing a visual meditation and some energy work, it's nice to find our center here, in the headspace. Not the part of your head that's intellectual or the thinking mind, but that deep inward gaze, that inner witness that can be there in the center of your head. And from that place, would you do a bit of a body scan? Just asking yourself the question internally, where is energy flowing? Where is energy stuck? And just notice if there's a certain part of your body that feels more vibrant, more alive. Versus an area that feels just kind of frozen, stuck. Keeping your eyes closed, maybe you even feel energy pulsating between your hands. If you put them close together, maybe that's an easy spot to feel some of that energy. And you might not feel this energy moving through you the same way you feel sensations in the body. It might be a more subtle level of energy. The more that you meditate, the more that you'll be tuned into those subtle energies and be able to tell what's going on within you. And so just with your own intention, get that intuitive sense of what parts of your body have energy flowing, moving, versus stuck. And you might notice if the stuck areas are areas where you have physical stuckness too, or pain, a joint problem. You might start to notice a certain correlation between the two. And we're doing a visual meditation because visualizing energy is a way to command energy. You're not just playing make believe, you're giving the energy a place to go. You're doing the energy work, the healing. Right? Just like how breath work can move energy in your body, visualization is a high form of energy work. And the more you practice, the more powerful your experience becomes, the more visceral, noticeable it can become. And so let's start by using some energy visual cues to start to shift things. And we'll start by just having you ask your heart to tune in to the more subtle energies within you. Still stay in that center, in the head, but ask the heart centered part of you to help you tune into those subtle energies. Let that divine intelligence within you connect you. Good. And as you do so, just take note of where those stuck parts are in your body, almost as if you could take a Sharpie and draw a circle around them, just identifying them. And then see a light blue energy, almost like a wave. See it forming above your head. And then watch that light blue energy flow down from the top of your head, down through your face, through your neck. And as this light blue moves through your body, watch it start to melt away or shift any of that stuck energy that you outlined. And let that blue wave of energy continue to move down through the shoulders, through the chest, stomach, into the hips, legs, feet. And just watch as that washes away any of those stuck energies, loosens them up. And while staying in meditation, if you need to kind of bend over and touch your toes, let any of that excess blue energy just drain off. You can do so. And after you let that pass through, come back to your center and just start to notice what cleared. Did all of those blockages clear? Just one of them? A couple? Does it feel a little lighter, more vibrant in your body? Just take note. Don't have to have any expectation for your experience. It's likely just your first time doing this. Yeah, you can go ahead and do it again, but this time with the rose quartz energy, kind of that light pink energy. Let a wave of that move down from the top of your head, down through your body, and out your feet. And just notice what that clears up. If there's a different quality of experience, realizing that the different colors are also different vibrations, different energies that you can use for healing, for clearing things out. If you embark upon a intuitive training type journey, you learn how to really see and identify what those blockages are, what those stuck energies are. You learn how to release them specifically and clear out underlying energy to keep them from coming back. But at a basic level, we can also just use different energies, different vibrations, and see what it clears out. You might not be totally aware of what you're releasing or where it came from, whose it was, what emotion or thought it was attached to, but you can still receive some healing through this, you can still shift. And if your mind is pretty quiet, you might notice some of the feelings or thoughts, memories that were attached to whatever you release. If there's something that pops up, it's probably not random. You're probably experiencing in some way what it is that you're releasing. And so let's try this again, but this time with a golden energy, a bright, bright gold. Let that golden wave move from the top of your head down through your body, and notice what happens when that gold saturates your space, when it passes through. Energy isn't just electricity. Everything is energy. There could be stuck thought energy. You've been mentally processing a story in your head over and over again, and there's some energy that's stuck in your body in relationship to that. There could be some emotional turmoil, whether it's yours or someone else's. That's a form of energy, as is a memory. Yeah. If that energy feels kind of heavy, it's not yours. It's not the right fuel for your body. It's something that you can release, that you can let go of. And so it's probably not hard for you to identify when you're feeling stuck. You might notice that just based on your day not going smoothly, or by some ache or pain in your body. And when that happens, you can pause and use some of those energy frequencies that we just played with to shift some of that energy. Give yourself some light therapy. If you notice a specific thought, feeling, memory, or maybe you're thinking about another person all day, that might mean their energy's in your space, in your body. You can clear it using that visual command. You can neutralize it. And so I'll show you one specific way to do that besides this light therapy. So go ahead and pick one thing within you that you're aware of that's stuck, meaning identify a specific thought, a specific feeling, memory, and try to notice where it is in your body. Again, giving it a little bit of an outline. And once you have it, go ahead and create an image of a rose out in front of you. This rose is a neutral image. It also has a certain level of symbolic power to it. And let this rose act as a vacuum to pull out that energy out of your body. Whatever you identified as a stuck energy that you outlined, let that rose just vacuum it right out, seeing all of that energy going into the rose acting as a placeholder for that energy that you're releasing. And recognize that a big part of energy release or healing is just being aware of what you're experiencing, rather than being fully in the experience, identifying with it. You can see that, oh, here's you, your energy, and here's this energy that you're processing that's stuck. You don't think that it's you any longer. You've created some energetic space or distance between you and that stuck energy when you use this rose. And then to neutralize it, you can imagine a bomb underneath that rose or some sort of mechanism to blow it up. Not as a violent act, but as a neutralization act. See that rose explode with all that energy in it. See that flash of light. And then notice how you feel as you released a specific energy. You can give yourself a couple deep breaths in. And just notice that inner quality of your energy. We're going to take this just a little bit further. And we can start by just having an inner awareness, an awareness that isn't disturbed or distracted by my talking. This will help you to establish your ability to keep your awareness inward, even when you're engaging with the outer world. This will help you to be more meditative in your day-to-day life. And so just keep that inner focus as I talk a little bit about energy. And so, like I was starting to say, how do you know when you hit an energy block? For some people, that can be pretty obvious. You might see a relationship under tension or failing. You might see a career that's starting to have some issues in it. You might just start seeing the same patterns in your life showing up time and time again, or that you're stuck on a particular thought loop. It could be a thought loop that says you're not enough, that you're stuck, that a certain area of life seems hopeless or lifeless. And what happens is you have an energy blockage within you, and that internal blockage becomes an external blockage in your life. You create outside of you what needs healing or awareness brought to it within you. And so, of course, you can always go and solve that problem or blockage by doing something in your physical life. That's always an option. But sometimes the path of least resistance is to address that barrier inside of yourself first. And so we want to get the energy moving again, not just see this blockage and then mentally try to fix it. We want to restore flow. And so think of a blockage in your life based off of those examples that I gave. And with your intention, ask Spirit, before you encountered this blockage in your life, what state of mind were you in? Again, this ability to ask questions and receive answers is something that we practice developing in more of a traditional intuitive training. But just allow yourself to receive some sort of answer, some sort of experience. Don't judge it or judge yourself if it doesn't come easy to you at first. It takes practice to receive the impression or messages from Spirit. So again, the question was, before you encountered this blockage in your life, what state of mind were you in? Were you worried, anxious? Were there feelings of lack or anger? It might be surprising as to what it was. You might visually see this answer, you might hear it, or it might just come as a clear thought moving through you. What type of quality was in your space, was within you before you encountered this blockage physically? Okay. Another way to ask that might be, where did you disconnect from source? Where were you disconnected from the wholeness of Spirit before this blockage came through? And just receive that answer as a glimpse as to, again, where you fell out of alignment in some way. Yeah, not so you can judge yourself. Everybody has this happen. But just so you can start to acknowledge where you are the cause of your life, not just the effect of it. Things aren't just randomly happening to you, they're happening from you. And the awareness of that isn't a problem, but rather it helps you to be able to take your power back, to be able to shift how you live and view your life. It's a very empowering thought to know that your life comes from you, not just at you. And so whether you got a clear answer or not as to what that misalignment was or that state of mind was, let's move forward with just one more way to kind of work this energy. Intend to see, feel, or experience that answer you just got, that misalignment, state of mind. Experience it or see it as an energy within your body somewhere. What does that energy of anxiety look like? The anxiety you experienced before this event, this blockage showed up in your life. What does that look like in your body? Again, just maybe seeing it as some color, some energy. Giving it a little bit of an outline. Really, we're doing the same exercise we just did, but looking at an energy that was the cause of the effect that you are noticing in your life. And so once you've identified that within your body, go ahead and put out an image of a rose just like before, and let that rose act as a vacuum once again. And let that energy move out into that rose. Release that inner blockage, not in an attempt to change the past, but just as a way of clearing that energy that created a certain effect that you notice in your world. That you can shift. Go ahead and put a bomb underneath that rose. Blow it up, neutralize that energy. And if you have that blockage still present in your life, as you move through your day and try to address it or take steps forward, you can pause. You can say, what energy am I living from right now? Is it an energy of hopelessness, doubt, fear? If so, find that within your body, call it out into that rose, and blow it up. You practice neutralizing that for a few days in a row. Maybe anytime you encounter fear-based thoughts around that blockage or victim thoughts, just pause and neutralize the energy. Give it a few days and see how that clears things up out in your life. You might be surprised at the difference it can make. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this meditation out by just doing one more round of golden energy. That wave of gold moving from the top of your head down through your body. Letting that just wash away any residual energy that maybe came up during this meditation, this energy work, and let it just clear it all out, leaving you in that bright golden light. And you can start to come out of meditation, to open your eyes, to wiggle and stretch, to touch your toes. Thanks for sitting with me. I hope you enjoyed this class a little bit, and I will see you next time.